Good morning. Good morning. The time is 6:30 and I'm in Srinagar. So many feet, meters, okay, above sea level. Uh, and in this geographical location, and I'm on the second floor, different effects on my body versus, say, if I was when I was in RR Nagar, Rajarajeshwari Nagar. um, versus sitting in a business meeting room, different influences. The number of people around, the um, building quality, the trees around, the electronic gadgets around, all have an effect on my body, depending on where I'm speaking from. Yeah. So you are sitting where you're sitting and are influenced by different affects according to what's in your environment. You could be having a musical instrument playing, and that music has an effect on your body and your sense and sensibilities, versus somebody else who's not having that music on, or not that particular genre of music. Yeah. Or you could be having a television on somebody. So each person is influenced by many things. Yeah. By many spheres of influence. Also, do you have your parents alongside you? Or do you have your spouse? Or do you have plants or your pet? All right. Something just happened. I'm just gonna restart something here. Okay. So 1 minute. Except just started on its own. 1 minute. Restarted on its own. So okay, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. So I don't know what's that about. So I'm on again. Yeah. So it's a partial recording, but the Zoom has the more beginning onwards recording. So why is this important? Because I don't know, it may be important. So it helps to pay attention to what you are aware of in this moment in time. For example, if you have that music system on, that has an influence on you. If you have plants around, that they have an influence on you. If you have people around, what kind of people, the nature of relationship of those people have an influence on you. If you have light on, and what kind of light on. I have a tube light on right now. Versus you could have a yellow light. Yeah, and my light here is white light, yellow light, red light, green light. What all colors of light? They all have their own influence on your body. What's the time of day? Is it slightly just here? The sun is just rising up. So the air is slightly cool, slightly beginning to warm up because the sun is just up. So the air is different and would keep changing as the sun rises up. So the change that my body is affected by keeps changing as the variables change. The different kinds of things that is influencing my body keeps changing moment to moment. I could say an hour long as a measure of time, or you could look at a minute, or you could look at a second, or you could look at moment. Moment as in, it could be a second, it could be an hour, it could be X app again went off. Okay, you're gonna have Zoom recording when it is available. Yep. Now, so what influences your body changes moment to moment. So change is a constant. And you are the instrument, so to speak, who can then be appreciative or be aware of what is changing. And that can only be possible in the present moment. Hopefully I'm recording. Yeah. Yeah. In the present moment would be where many things are happening at the same time. And how do you pay attention to so many things happening when you want to just focus on your document in front of you and to do that task? Which means you have your same human body and in 360-degree, kind of like a sphere, where your nervous system is not facing only one side or only on your hands. Your nervous system is there all of your body. And the degree of innervation of your nervous system with your musculoskeletal system, which then lets you know the air that is touching your skin and the hunger that you're feeling inside and the music that's playing in the background that you can be aware of when your nervous system is hands in glove with the forces, kind of, that also maintain life. For example, muscles are also having a little force, voluntary, involuntary. The forces that maintain life. A heart is beating, lungs are expanding, contracting, intestines are moving in their own ways, bones are doing their own stuff. When your nervous system is more like a security check, yeah, more like feeling, sensing, how is every system working? It's like an electric circuitry. Okay, only this for sensing. Yeah, security check. How is the whole system? So then the nervous system also informs the immunity system. The immune system on safe, not safe, watch out. Yeah. So alert, keeping us alive. So we have this watch out for, alert, keeping us alive on system and other systems too. For example, the plumbing system, which is our arteries, veins, capillaries, plumbing system. And then there is electric circuitry, which is also the nervous system. In the sense, it functions by kind of electric connections. There are other details. Potential, positive, negative, connected, message passes, otherwise not. But it's also from electrolytes, according to, do you have sufficient um, cations, anions, like a battery? Connection is there, then there pass, otherwise no pass. Yeah. So spirituality is also, you say connection. No. Spirit. You can have too much positivity, too much negativity, and you're a little inebriated. Yeah, that's a little like loose connections. Zzz. And you need a little insulation so you're not going into toxic positivity, toxic negativity, and then you're functioning from zzz, zzz. Yeah. And your nervous system is a little off balance. When there is a fine balance between positive and negative, that is spirituality. No, you have commonality, or let's just say emotions. I think there should be another word for it, because spirituality doesn't seem to be a sufficient, good enough word. Yeah, because I find spirituality is about positive, negative, insulation a little off. Yeah, battery stabilization is a little off. Now, I will think about that word. Yeah, there must be, it's also called state of balanced awareness. But awareness may be going through another physiology, which is not through just the nerves. Or let's just say spirituality could also be a lot of emotions. But it's a system that is also involving positive, negative, cations, anions, and electricity from there. Yeah. So you could run a machine out of it. Yeah. And run out of electricity? No. When we're talking in terms of ecological balance, bio ecological also, microcosm, macrocosmal functioning without there being toxic fumes or biologically unsustainable um, produce, then we are talking about not ecological practices. Yeah. So, what am I doing in NBG yoga? To bring a balance in state of balance awareness. So, we're not going into spirituality. Yeah. Positive, negative, heaven, hell, male, female. So that metabolism is continuing without gaslighting, which also is positive, negative. Yeah. Versus you could go through burnout concerns. Yeah. Um, not so very nice. Not such a nice way to cook. I think there's another way to cook. Yeah, it's just all balance, heat, all that flavor. And let's just say the base is water for this cooking, not oil, not fat. The base is water. Bruce Lee recommended, Mr. Bruce Lee recommended, be water, my friend, because water can become a bottle or bowl, or it can crash. Water holds a certain potential, which can also heal. It's a universal solvent. It helps to think water, but we are not just made of water. We're also made of air, okay, earth, and water, and fire, um, earth, water, fire, air, spirit, and space. Also nothing and everything. So that's also kind of Ashtanga yoga. Yeah. And all of these 8 elements, so to speak, yeah, is not easily understood unless we actually look at the details. Okay. Now, we may have preconceived notions about what earth is, or what fire is, or water is, and we could be bouncing off of meanings. Yeah. And lose out on the benefit on what they actually make available. Like we have the periodic table, and every element have their own unique properties. And we could say one is more important than the other, then we would have an imbalance and not have the benefit of what each element makes available in their own ways. Yeah. In the practice of Nirvana Yoga, while there are so many such variations, such as the influence of music on our body, air on our body, time-based. So heart beats at a particular pace. Lungs expand and contract at their own pace. If you feel your pulse at your wrist, at your ankles, you will notice that the pulse is at a particular pace. It's when you check if your pulse is in tandem with your heartbeat that you know they are in tandem or not. You could also check it at your jugulars. These are also signs of life, that you're alive. A chair or a table do not have this pulse. This rhythm of life is not there for a chair, a table, or your phone, but they have their own rhythms. A healthy chair has its own I can't say frequency, energy, vibration. It has a certain feel to it. Nevertheless, in the practice of Nirbij Yoga, try paying attention at this point in time, since across the globe, we are just waking up after the Shivaratri. Yeah. And I tended to put on the exam Nirbij Yoga hyphen Shivaratri in Brahmamuhurta mode. Yeah. Because it's about Shishti optimization. Good morning. So when we say Brahmamuhurta, it's a reference to time, but it's also a reference to creation time, kind of the time of the creator. We don't stop creating once the Brahmamuhurta, the assigned time early in the morning, once that is over, we don't stop being creators. I mean, we make stories also. Go to the kitchen, we're cooking something, we are creating one thing or the other all the time. And if you say that's the moment for creation and this not, the nervous system has a moment early in the morning when there is more a quiet and the physiology of earth, physiology of life on earth. Also, in correspondence with the universe, with several cyclical rhythmic patterns, has different states of rest and well-being. And so a nervous system experiences something around this time, Brahmamuhurta. Now that can be had in the practice of Nirbij Yoga so that you're in a state of repose too. You could say it's not just the vagus system, just the vagus nerve, but it's in an awareness of restedness in your body, as well as paying attention to restedness outside your body. On planet Earth, no matter where you are at this point in time, there would be sounds, movements, things. Let's just say everything, one or the other, something, anything, everything. And underlying the sounds and movements and everything would be silence or different levels of quietness. If there is loud, just try pay attention to the loud sounds you hear around you. It could be music, it could be traffic, it could be the leaves that is the most loudest in your vicinity. And then there would be sounds less loud than them. Yeah. For example, I'm hearing a certain kind of static sound. That's from wherever that sound is, but you can hear it. You can identify traffic sound because you're familiar with it. And then there are sounds you hear which you don't identify where it's coming from. It could be a beep, beep, beep from a electronic gadget. Yeah. So it could be many sounds that you hear sounds. And then you can feel things. For example, the temperature. You can also feel the air in the room. You can also feel the constraints in the room. For example, you can notice how big the room is or how small it is. If you're going to sit in a small room, you're going to feel the space not being so big enough, which means in some sense you can feel the wall, how far the wall is or close. If you're having two people sitting next to you, you will know that the space around you is also occupied by people around you. You're kind of bouncing off of people. The wall or the obstacle, so to speak, or something that's in the space. So, how far can you feel? Do you have sufficient space in the place you're sitting? Is the room big enough? Or do you have space well enough? Which is why sometimes when people go on trekking, mountaintops, they sometimes experience space, which may not be there, for example, in a crowded city or in a crowded traffic, or if you've never gone to a park, taken a walk, then that you do not experience space until you actually move from that space you are and then go out and then feel what you're feeling. Can you feel space? Yeah. Then there is a temperature that you can feel. Is it cool? Is it warm? So there is a range of things to feel. Similarly, there is a range of things to hear. There are a range of things to see. So seeing, hearing, smelling. If you have food right in front of you, depending on what all types of dishes are in front of you, you can smell them. But if you don't have food in front of you, can you smell? If you can smell, what can you smell? What smell comes to your attention, to your awareness? For which you would need to try smelling lightly, but light smell. Yeah, but not with too much intensity. This is where your nervous system goes and becomes hand in glove with your nose muscles. And then it's kind of like, what can you sense? It's more like sense. What? Smell. So nerves through your muscle system can, and then there is smelling factors, smell enabling factors in your nose. So the nerves then goes and checks with the smell enabling factors. What smell? Yeah. Similarly, your skin can feel, your skin may not be able to smell because there may not be smell enabling factors in your skin. If there is, then you can smell through your skin. Yeah. But if you're going to just feel it, then through the feel enabling factors in your skin, you can feel different ranges of things. Your eyes have seeing enabling factors. Ears have hearing enabling factors. Yeah. So when you're aware of, I can't say thinking enabling factors because that would be more brain, but there is light effect, magnetic effect, and all of that. So thinking enabling factors, thought enabling factors, words. So lots of, can your feet feel words? There may be more hearing sounds in the head region than from your feet region. Yeah, chick 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 goes on in your head region. You may not be hearing from your feet region. Yeah, you're kind of having sensory faculties. For smelling, where do you smell from? Would be something to inquire into. Yeah, where do you get the smell from? Now, that could be smell from your feet, but it may not be, your feet may not be smelling. It's worthy, it may be well enough to check where are you getting the smell from. It has been said that the butthole also has taste factors, because of which, if you have very spicy food, your butthole burns. You eat food in your mouth, you also can feel spiciness. So it is said that the butthole also has taste factors. No, I don't know what range of taste it can taste, but spiciness is somehow known. Yeah. So does an entire gut system, entire digestive system, no, food pipe from mouth to butthole can feel taste, uh, or different kinds of proteins, vitamins, nutrients. So intestines have more feelers, tasters for proteins, vitamins, and those kinds of factors. And our mouth and mouth has more taste range. We don't have butthole. We gotta check how is our tasteability. How can you be aware unless you're kind of paying attention to what can your butthole feel? Yeah, you'll be more aware of your ass from a hole in the ground because you'll be able to feel where your butthole ends and the ground begins. Or rather, if you can feel your clothes on your butt, yeah, on your legs, on your body, you are a little more aware than before this exercise. Yeah, which would still be a good benefit from participating in this live. Yeah, you're a little more aware. And awareness is a good, necessary factor for bits of information technology, kind of information that then tells you food is getting cooked. Yeah. Over time, at some point in time, somebody is either going to invite you or you're going to eat something, or you can have the experience of eating versus you listening to music. Yeah. And then your body would need to tell you you're hungry for you to then look at, oh, food. That is when you are aware of your body then you know, okay, hungry. There is these hungry signs, yeah, sounds, or just it feels hungry. Do you know how hungry feels? Like when you are feeling hungry versus you're just anxious. If you're anxious, it's a different feel. But sometimes if you're not aware of, is it a hungry signal or is it an anxious anxiety signal? You don't know which is which. And you would think you're hungry all the time. And every time you have a certain feel, you'll go reaching for food. When you're aware, if you're hungry versus anxious, then you will do things to take care of anxiety than go and grab another meal. Some people put on weight when they don't know this difference. There is just a feeling inside. And if there's a feeling in this part of the body, it should be food. You need food. And so that doesn't work quite that way. Yeah. So different parts of the body are having their own signals. Liver has its own signals. Um, spleen has its own signals. If you're having a lot of stress, then the spleen will also show certain signs, so to speak, because red blood cells go through their um, recycling process in the spleen. So some people, um, it's not necessarily anemia, but it's just that um, if there is more tension or if there's kind of less tension about the region of spleen, where is the spleen? So when you place your hand, when you say stomach, when you say hungry, you may be placing your hand on your intestines. Your stomach is a little up from where you have your belly button. About there is your intestines. Okay? From there, when you just bring your hand up, that would be about the lower part of your rib cage. And from there, like in the midline, from there you take your hand to the left. Okay? A little to the left. That is around where your stomach is. The stomach is a C-shaped organ like this. Kidney is also C-shaped, but it's more standing upright. Stomach is more like this. Yeah, a little like that. Yeah. And then there is um, pancreas with the, yeah, from its small hole, yeah, like this. Yeah. So when you're having stress, diabetes factors, for example, you may not be aware of which part of your body is experiencing tension. So your pancreas may be compressed like this from the tension from your rib cage, yeah, or from your intestines compressing, like for pregnant women, yeah, baby inside, all the parts of the body pushed here, left, right, like that, and your stomach goes like that, yeah, and your pancreas could go like that. So unless you're aware of where the tension is, and you're taking time to relieve the compression in those different parts, you could have health effects from them. Some people get diabetes during pregnancy, or acidity concerns, or just shortness of breath, because the diaphragm is just above that region, the middle region. Yeah, the lungs sit on the diaphragm, and when the diaphragm is moving is when the breathing is nice enough. So when you're not aware of your body, of where there is tension, the physiological process of that body part may not be able to function as well as it needs to be. And so you could have dis-ease or lack of ease. If you don't take care of the lack of ease in time, you could get a disease. Like you need to go to the doctor, take a pill, yeah, all that stuff. If you don't pay attention to the dis-ease for long enough, then it becomes compounds, the dis-ease compounds, and then you would need professional help. Yeah, it costs a lot of money, but protection of health is better than prevention of disease, is better than cure. If you're going to write this down somewhere, over time, maybe it will just enter somewhere in your thought lines. And maybe you will show certain behavior in your own house to protect health. And that will bring down a lot of disease-based expense. Protection of health is better than prevention of disease, is better than cure. Because if health is not protected, it's compounding expense. You're earning money, and if just because you're not aware of your health, all that money is then, yeah, expense multiply. Yeah, so you'll be able to save that money, and then you can invest in other things. Yeah, you would have the benefits from it. So health is wealth, also in that sense, you see. Yeah, there's a direct correlation there. Now, I think I will pause now because I think you have enough to think about in terms of your awareness and what are your signs for health. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day. Brahmamuhurta. Yeah. A little bit, a moment in time. Thank you for joining me.